Hi, welcome along to today's 4-Minute Clinic Live. I'm Dr. Marianne Trent, and this is your daily prescription for better mental health. So today I am answering a very special request for somebody who had contacted me to ask for ways to cope with unexpected and traumatic grief when somebody has died suddenly. This cropped up because one of the people in my network had said that they lost their daughter very sadly, and it was in an accident. So I know that death is never an easy topic to discuss and to address, but of course it can be that much harder when it's unexpected and when it's traumatic. So I think it's useful for us to talk about when grief meets trauma. So with any grief, there's an element of trauma, but when a loss happens unexpectedly, or when it feels like it really wasn't or shouldn't have been that person's time, there can be added layers of trauma and complexity. So especially when you lose a child, you're not just losing the child then, you're losing the child from your future as well. You're losing perhaps their wedding day, or you're losing, their sweet 16th, or, parties, birthdays, celebrations, future things that you'd planned, future holidays. You're losing their ability to become parents, and you perhaps, if you're the parent, your ability to become a grandparent. And of course, when something happens unexpectedly, we've got the grief and the shock and the reeling and the hurting. And in an accident, it might have been that you were there, or it might be that you were not there. And there's all sorts of feelings of blame and guilt and what if. So the usual stages of grief are still there in sudden or traumatic loss, but there's going to be a whole lot of sense making and a whole lot of anger, and sometimes even when we're not there. So when I learned of the death of a friend, our mind will play out situations for us. It will join up the dots. It's trying to sense make, it's trying to problem solve, it's trying to help us to process. But it can feel like intrusive thoughts. It can feel like if these things are cropping up that really don't feel manageable or safe or at all nice, it can feel like we're being plagued by our own thoughts, and that's really difficult. So I think specifically for when grief meets trauma, but for any grief really, or for any big event, it can be helpful to think about accessing some kind of trauma work really, and a technique called EMDR, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, can help all parts of the brain and the body to learn that the thing that feels really, really awful is not happening now. So what happens with trauma is that things leap forwards into the present. So we can't turn back time. I'm very, very sorry for the loss of your child. Thank you for reaching out to me. Hope this is useful. If you do find my content useful, please do like, share, comment, engage, tell your friends. And of course, there is the Grief Collective Facebook page and the Grief Collective book, Stories of Life, Loss and Learning to Heal. It's really useful and really helps support and normalize people in their grief. Hope you have a lovely day. If anyone wants to work with me for free for an entire week, we have got the Feel Better Challenge, which starts on Monday. And for more information, it's www.goodthinkingpsychology.co.uk/5DC. I will catch up with you tomorrow. Have a lovely rest of the day. Take care.